Just hours into the long weekend, there's already been carnage on the roads. 10 people died and 34 others were injured in a horror bus accident on the N1 in Limpopo this morning. It brings the death toll to 21 this week after another bus crash on Monday in Polokwane. Authorities are warning motorists to be vigilant over the next few days. Road Traffic Management Corporation spokesperson Simon Zwane joins us now. Good evening, Simon. Thanks very much for your time. Just a brief update from the 21 we've seen this week, including, of course, the one that happened in Limpopo this morning. Have there been any other major accidents?
No, we haven't seen any major accident since this morning. The morning one in Polokwane is the only one that we have seen so far.
And one would imagine that the roads are getting busier and busier by the minute.
The roads are getting really busy. We're seeing about 1,500 vehicles an hour going on the N1 North to Polokwane. We're expecting that that number will double later in the evening when other people start traveling, particularly those going to the ZCC. We know there's a big gathering there that's taking place over this weekend, and there will be more vehicles traveling that way. So, and we have planned for that. We have traffic officers on the road to ensure visibility throughout that road and to ensure that there is safety. Also on the entry towards KZN Durban, it's also busy at the moment. And as people get off work now in the afternoon, that road is also going to be very, very busy.
Now, I know that investigations are still ongoing with regard to the two major accidents we saw this week, including the one that took place this morning. But from what we know, what are the biggest contributors to road accidents? I guess, and it's something we can't get tired of talking about.
Yeah, on these two accidents, there seems to be two main factors that were at play here. The earlier one on Monday, there was a tire burst. In that case, we're looking also at the roadworthiness of the vehicles and that. This one, today's one, looks like there was an element of fatigue that was involved. We're investigating that, and we're hoping that there will have been no other predisposing health conditions that the driver might have. But also this tendency of these bus drivers, particularly from our neighboring countries, driving these long distances, entering South Africa in the early hours of the morning. We suspect that it's designed to ensure that they avoid being dictated by traffic officers so that they can get to Gauteng early in the hours of the morning. And that we need to work on and ensure that it doesn't happen.
What's the best proven, tried and tested way of avoiding fatigue?
It's to take regular rest stops, have drivers to relieve each other. In the morning one, I think they had two drivers, but both of them claimed not to know what happened until they woke up and the bus had overturned. But it always helps to have more than one driver driving the vehicle so that they relieve each other along the road.
I would imagine a lot of people don't do that because they leave very late and rush to try and make up for the lost time.
Yes, some operators don't. It's the responsibility actually of the operator to ensure that the drivers that he puts behind the wheel are fit and proper people to drive the vehicle, that the vehicle is also in a fit and proper state to be on the roads. So we want to really engage with the operators to ensure that there's more than one driver when driving long distance and that those vehicles are fit and proper. Even the drivers have got a responsibility for their own health, for their own safety and the safety of other motorists, to refuse to get into unroadworthy buses, or to report them to us so that authorities can go at those depots, inspect those buses, discontinue those that are not fit to be on the roads, so that even before they get onto the road, they are discontinued, and the operators can have the opportunity to fix whatever defects may be.
Of course, fatigue doesn't only affect, public transport drivers. I mean, people who are, driving with their families do pretty much, or often, do
Yes.
what these public transport drivers do.
Yes, that's why we insist on this 2-hour break rule, because it applies to everybody, because everybody gets tired. Particularly now being a long weekend, people will be driving back back home to the provinces they normally have come from. They're from Cape Town to the Eastern Cape, from Joburg to Durban, Joburg to Limpopo, and into Mpumalanga. People must take those regular rest stops for their own lives, and also to ensure that they don't collide with other people as well.
And of course, I mean, passengers, both private and public, do also have a responsibility not to put pressure on the people who drive the vehicles, saying, we want to arrive, we want to get there as quickly as we can.
Yes, that will be happening. It happens mostly with taxi drivers. They get put under pressure by those passengers who say, please driver, we want to get home before it's too late to get connecting transport to home. People must plan their travel such that it won't be necessary to put pressure on the taxi driver.
And the taxi driver, and I mean the drivers, shouldn't really go out of their way or bend over backwards to try and accommodate their passengers, some of whom at times have had one too many.
Yes, passenger sobriety is also a big issue. Not only passengers, even pedestrians. Around this time, you find a lot of pedestrians on the highways hiking to try and get home cheaply. Taxi fares have gone up because of the petrol prices, and there are many people who are trying to get cheap transport by hiking, and that exposes them to accidents on the road. And we're also appealing to those people. We have officers who will be dealing with that on the road, but really it will help if people found other alternatives rather than to go onto the highways to try and hike there, because vehicles are driving at high speed. They may not be able to stop in time for that pedestrian who's at the wrong place at the wrong time.